Welcome to another episode of Alignment First. I'm jamming with Kayleen Duffy, host of the One Thing podcast and fellow Post teammate. Shout out to Christian Ponder and everything that he's creating at the Post. He's the whole reason that we're here together today. What's going on, girl? How are you?
What is happening? This has been in the making. I can't believe we're on today.
Hey, you know what? We've rescheduled this thing 3 times. And in those 3 times, we had a crazy lightning storm this morning. A tree has fallen on my house. You name it. On my end, we've had every excuse not to do this. So we're finally here. It's all good.
I feel like that means it's going to be that much better than it was going to be.
So I want to start with the inception of your podcast, because we're kind of going back and forth on the ins and outs of what makes a good show. Where did the One Thing come from?
Yeah. This is kind of a crazy story, but I was in kind of a pivotal moment in my life. I was new in my career, new in New York, had considered freezing my eggs to set myself up for, the kind of life that I wanted. And I was walking. This is actually kind of crazy. I don't know if I've told you this in its entirety, but I was walking in New York City near the UN on the east side. And I just started like riffing. Like I was talking out loud. Like I think if people walk by me, they'd be like, what is this girl's problem? But I was just like, and at that time, right, podcasts have been a big thing in my life for probably 8 to 10 years now. And I was just thinking, I'm like, there, in my opinion, is a gap. And obviously you fill this gap. But I'm like, are there podcasts with just like normal people whose lives look a little bit like mine, right? Maybe they had a successful sports career. Maybe they've had a great, corporate career, but they're not someone that's like on the circuit, like a celebrity or like a Mel Robbins or whatever it might be. And I literally started recording in my phone. And I just love this idea of this one thing. Like everyone has something in their life, someone that bet on them, a failure, a win that they didn't expect that changed their life. And I could probably tell that story in like an hour, but to make it somewhat succinct, it literally like came over me at this pivotal point in my life, recorded it. It was a 30-second little intro. Like I was doing the welcome to that one thing with Kayleen Duffy. And that's where it came. And the really cool thing is, I think, I did an amateur boxing match a few years ago. The next day I get a call from one of the trainers in the gym. He goes, I'm starting a podcast. I want to interview people that have done one amateur fight. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. And then the rest is kind of history, which is so cool.
Holy shit.
It's insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is there a theme that's showing up with your guests? Because we've shared some guests already, and I'm curious if there's like something that's reoccurring yet as to the one thing. Is it a person? Is it an opportunity? Is it a gamble? Is it losing it all? Like, is there something that shows up a little more often than everything else?
I would say there's 2 really big themes. It is losing it all. Mm-hmm. Whether it was due to addiction or whatever it might be. I would say that's a massive theme. And then the other one is someone betting on themselves, someone having this like voice within being like, I want to quit the job. I want to leave the relationship. I want to leave the city. I would say those are the 2 largest themes. And they're both so deeply inspiring.
Yeah. What's your one thing?
Man.
I feel like you saw that setup.
I wish I had prepped better, because I feel like I knew this was going there. It's interesting. I feel like, obviously I think about this a lot, right? Because when I have guests on, we ultimately want to end up there. We want the theme to come through. I think this has shown up in moments of my life, but I would say the theme that continues to show up in my life that I think is my one thing specific to specific examples in my life is just resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think about when I was younger, there were coaches that didn't believe in me. You know, I didn't say fuck it at the time, but I was like, let's ride. You know I can prove that wrong. It's happened when my heart's been broken. It's happened when I've had to make really tough decisions. But I think it's somewhat tied to me being the oldest daughter, and I think being an ex-athlete probably. Well, I'm an athlete as it stands still today.
That a girl.
Right?
I was about to jump in your shit.
No, I'm an athlete. But no, I think my one thing, and again, I could go into stories, but it's being incredibly resilient.
Mm-hmm.
I think about some of my like most successful years at work, or when I took the biggest bets on myself, it was actually when like hard things were going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't deter me from accomplishing those things. And I just pride myself so much on. Now I feel like I have such repetition of being resilient. If something hard comes, you know, my way, it's like, bring it on, because there's something really cool on the other side.
I love everything about that. And I'm curious if there's, and I love that you're so down to go deep, because I have like, these are the things that I float in and out of my head all day, every day. Like I'm in the gym this morning, and what came to me because of, you know, some really cool stuff that I'm working on is being patient with your creations. And a lot of things don't come to ground because we want to rush it, or it's not here yet. And, you know, we fumble at the goal line, you know. And as I'm hearing you talk about this one thing, resilience, I'm curious if there's also a piece of you that you're obviously prepared and capable of doing hard things. My question is, do you expect things to be hard because of that pattern?
That's a really good question. I would say it is probably some of my default, which is interesting.
Is there, I mean, there's obviously the satisfaction that comes with doing hard shit, you know? Is there the dark side of that coin being making it harder than it needs to be? And when you step outside and break the fourth wall with yourself, is there anything in that for you that is like, oh, yeah, it didn't have to be that?
100%.
Yeah. What's showing up for you right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think change is like the most beautiful thing, right? And I think the process in that change is what helps us to so deeply grow. And I think there's such groundedness in that, right? But I think about one, moving to New York City changed my life. It took me 1.5 years to actually make that call, right? That I made that exponentially harder than it had to be. Like, there was a job opportunity. My old boss was like, it's sitting here on a silver platter. Come on and join us. That's one example. And then any sort of career change I've had. I mean, I think I do make it harder. You know, I think for someone that I feel like has just built up this like calloused resilience, which is, it's funny as I'm saying that, it's like, to me, it's a strength and probably a weakness, which clearly you kind of tethered that out of that. But you're so good at what you do. But I definitely think I make it harder on myself sometimes, because I think to your point, like, there's so much preparation and there's so much grit around it. But yeah, I think, again, in my heart and soul, it's like change is such a good thing, right? Like things can come easy, but I think sometimes my default is like, oh, this is going to be hard, and maybe let's make it a little harder than it has to be.
Is it like a red flag goes up if it's an amazing opportunity, but it's coming out of a state of flow as opposed to a state of friction?
100%. Yeah.
why does that red flag exist?
I mean, I think two biggest things right now that I feel like is a part of my journey and what I've been working on is one, just like deep trust in my intuition, right? Like I think our gut, the more we're in tuned and have this self-awareness and self-love, like we know the answer every single time. I also think on the other side of that, you made the comment just around like kind of patience for the things that are supposed to happen. And you said it in so many words, but also just the surrender to that. Like those are my two biggest things every morning that I wake up. I'm like, trust the hell out of yourself, but also just be in a state of surrender because like what is going to happen is going to happen. And I think that when we're not in that flow state, to your point, that's when this red flag pops up because it's all like juggled inside or something.
You, my dear, do not need mushrooms. You have already arrived.
I love it.
You speak the lingo, at least. That's for sure.
I hope. I've been on
we'll, we'll jam on the other side of that when I get on your show.
Hell yeah.
It's so interesting. You know, I did a lot of work with my coach just recently around being brave and how that for me, in the same way resilience has been powerful for you, it was also the mask that my fear wears. Okay. And I just got back from DC doing this workshop and with the Thunderbird School of Global Management. And I came back just an absolute mess. My energy was off. Like I was just short with people and just like, I wasn't where my feet are.
Yeah.
You know, not present at all. And I realized I didn't, because you don't know what you don't know.
100%.
And on that trip, I was exposed to the true scope and scale of my practice. And just like a lot of other things in my life up to this point, it's not so much that I hate what I'm doing. It's, ooh, I'd rather be doing that.
Interesting.
And we often confuse the two because to make the conscious decision to just go do something else has a lot more uncertainty attached to it than the necessity of something that you hate or is obviously not for you. Yep. Or, you know, more than one red flag is present and things are going in the opposite direction.
100%.
Right. And it took a very cathartic emotional release to clear that.
Yeah.
And to your point, use your word that I love so much, to surrender to that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh no, but I can be brave. I can see this all the way through. I'm okay. It's like, or you could just admit
100%
that you're scared shitless, and that's also okay. When as I tell you that, what shows up?
You know, I think there's so much power in bravery, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that is something that I feel like a lot of ex-athletes are accustomed to, right? Like, mm-hmm. You know, I think there's bravery and courage in, like, you know, getting recruited, and bravery and courage in finishing all 4 years, and bravery and courage and all those things. But I think, and I think there's obviously like, generational conditioning with that too. But I think that sometimes that bravery is the thing that stops us from living our most aligned life, right? Because it's like, let's just push through it. And I've already committed to this. Like, to me, that's the athlete mindset. I've committed to this, so I'm going to finish the drill. Like, just to use, saying that I don't ever want to hear myself say again. But But I just think that we are so accustomed to, I committed to this journey that I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pause it. And I think that's something, I mean, you say that, it's like I almost get the butterflies because it's like, sure, if I, had to like wave the white flag and like surrender and be like, I'm not on the right path, like, let's take a pivot. But like, still something I struggle with probably like, I hope to God not daily, but like maybe weekly, right? This
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel aligned. Like, we don't have to be brave. We don't have to say, let's put on the mask that I can continue on. And,
Mm-hmm.
again, I think it goes back to playing sports and being so committed to that. I think there's a lot of beauty to bravery, but I also think it can be somewhat harmful.
Mm-hmm.
Harmful to your alignment.
100%. You stick with things for way longer than you should, and a byproduct of whether it's being brave for me or being resilient for you, there some of the unintended consequences of we'll call them defense mechanisms are staying in careers, staying in relationships, just staying in situations way longer, way beyond their service to us.
Yep.
And for example, I'm working with a client right now who's achieved scale in his business, and we're looking at where we go from here. And he's like, well, at the pace that things are going, we'll outgrow this facility, and then we'll acquire a new property, and then we'll move into that one, and just increase capacity.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, hard pause. Absolutely not. That is the exact opposite of what alignment looks like for you.
Yeah.
Right. We have to look at growth by acquisition. Right. And because the old pattern persists in that the company was built literally out of a closet.
That's cool.
And now it's a multi-million-dollar entity.
Yeah.
But the thing that that work ethic, that grind, that increase in capacity through effort,
yep,
is what got us here.
Yep.
However, if not right now, not too much further, we're going to start to experience the law of diminishing returns, where that thing that worked so well for so long is now the thing that holds us back.
Yep.
So we have to explore other strategies, right? And there's also like in the work that I do, it's being mindful of what keeps the founder whole.
I love that.
Right. And if those two things are competing for more than a predetermined season, because we're looking at it from a lot of different perspectives, yeah, that's an opportunity, but it's not the right opportunity.
100%.
So as you embrace the superpower that is your resilience, what are the things that you've put in place so that you stay on the bright side of that coin?
Yeah. I love that question. I mean, even going back to the story that you were sharing about the founder that you're working with,
mm-hmm.
Again, I think like just using what we all knew to be true in sports, it's like the harder you work, and think about it, in my sales career or any founder that is like, there are a lot of examples that effort cause revenue, effort cause success. So, even the story that you're telling, it sounds like ultimately it's like, hey, let's actually take a pause and
Mm-hmm.
reset and figure out, okay, what's actually the next form of growth that's not just like grit and grinding and potentially burnout,
Right.
I mean, I think for me, this sounds silly because, but I think that if you polled everyone, you're like, what's your superpower? 9 out of anyone that said that they were a resilient person, I think 9 out of 10 probably has a lot of capacity, right? They can
mm-hmm.
take on more at work. They can play X role in their family. They can volunteer weekly. They can work out. They can sign up for the New York Marathon. I'm like talking about all the things that I feel like I'm juggling at once.
Mm-hmm.
But I have just so realized in the past probably 2 years that if I am not dedicating, and it's not always in the morning, right? Because life's and
Mm-hmm.
things come up. But if I'm not dedicating a certain amount of time to me every day, and to me, what fills me is exercise. And
Mm-hmm.
that has evolved too, right? Exercise doesn't mean a 90-minute hit workout, just crushing it, being a badass in the gym. Like that could be an hour-long walk with no sound, no phone. But for me, it is that time where I'm moving my body. For me, it is that time in prayer, meditation, whatever is needed that day. For me,
Mm-hmm.
it is some sort of, it's interesting. I've journaling is a big part of my practice, but sometimes if I don't want to output, I'll read something. I'll read
Mm-hmm.
10 pages. But I think what I have learned so deeply that if I am not giving myself that hour, because, and you know this, right? Because this is a lot of your business, that time in silence or solitude is when what you need actually comes up. So if I
Mm-hmm.
don't get and by the way, I'm human. There are sometimes weeks where I'm like, shit, I've not had an hour to, I mean, I don't miss my exercise, but like there are moments that I miss
Mm-hmm.
the prayer or whatever it might be. But what I was going to say, that silly analogy that like, put your air mask or your face mask on before your partner on the airplane.
Yep.
I have just so deeply embodied that because I think that resilient people with, more capacity in their lungs and other
Mm-hmm.
folks, like, yeah, I felt burnout so much in my life, or this like unhealthy
Mm-hmm.
grit that's like not going to get me anywhere. Again,
Yeah.
I think about this example with the founder that you're working with. It's like, he's probably going to do less quality of work if he's going to stay on that grind, bigger facility route, right? So again, like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
pause.
No, no, no. It's like all that glitters is not gold, and
I like that.
it's so much less shiny object syndrome, and so much more. This is what I'm used to. So if we can stay as close to paint by numbers in this growth process, I feel like that's better. Even if it's harder, it's a familiar hard,
100%.
right? And that's not always best.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I love what you're saying, because I had a session with another client recently, and we were talking about their joy. Joy is their big thing, right? They come from a place where their joy, their fulfillment, what makes them whole, what helps them be present, was always the last thing, right? And they come from the world of finance, and so we can speak P&Ls and investment strategy, and that's a really solid analogy in the way that sports is for us.
Sure.
Right? And I was like, when was the last time you invested in your joy with pre-tax energy?
I love that.
It was like never, because like we don't think about it that way, yep. Right? It's output, external, and then hopefully the dust settles just enough that I can take care of me. It's like, man, you look at things different when you take your core values, right? For me, integrity, courage, and ownership.
Love.
You put those up front, and it's like, okay, what are the things that I can entertain that support or expand those core values? Yeah. And all of a sudden, like the stuff that isn't for you kind of goes away or becomes less distracting, and the stuff that is for you just starts showing up.
Yep.
Right. But while that sounds really cool, the catch-22 is you got to sit still for just a little bit longer than you probably think is comfortable in order for that stuff to show up.
Yep.
And we're so damn busy.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. You know what's crazy though? This topic fires me up. Like I feel like I was like short of breath because I was like, whoa. Um,
I'm gonna go back to the night we met in a minute,
the
but
best. But I really think about, like, to your point, you have to sit with that, but how many people
Mhm.
have no idea what their core values are, to not even know what to discern what is right and wrong for them? And
Mhm.
by the way, this is, I just turned 36, and there were a lot of things in my life that weren't for me. People, uh, friends, or romantic, or uh, just things I was spending my time doing, even like the things that I was absorbing on Instagram or books or whatever it might be, because I had no freaking idea. I'm the oldest, and I do think there's some eldest daughter syndrome that's very true, but I was living my life for everyone else, right? And I think there's some beauty in, like, I have such an amazing value centered family, but it was like living for them, living
Mhm.
for what I thought my work wanted, living for this role of like being everyone's cheerleader in our friend group. And I woke up like 2.5 years ago being like, what the hell do I actually want? What
Mhm.
is at the core of who Kayleen Duffy is? What brings me happiness? Is something I journal about a lot. It's like, what does success and happiness look like from your definition? But I think this topic is so interesting because I see it with my family, I see it with friends, I see it with, like, coworkers, people I just meet at the coffee shop. It's like people don't have that self attunement and self awareness to be like, that ain't it for me. And
Mhm.
then to your point, when you're out of alignment and don't know your core values, then you're missing out on all this abundance that's trying to enter into your life, but you're so blocked that you can't see all this beauty that's just like, it's so cool when you have this awareness. And by the way, I'm so in and out of it, right? Because I'm a human being, but like the days that I'm locked in, I'm like, holy shit, how many blessings are just like popping into my lap?
Mhm.
It's such a beautiful thing, but it's just so crazy that I think we're also, as human beings, afraid of stillness, right? Because
Mhm.
you don't really know what's in that silence that maybe you've been kind of ignoring.
Mhm. I know you to be a woman that is beyond comfortable 100 miles an hour going full speed in everything she does. So what was we're just gonna leverage this one thing. You gave that to me today and I love it. What was the one thing that made you appreciate being still when the pattern, the thing that served you for so long was go, 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 go full speed all day long?
Oh man, I feel like two things come up for me. Um, and it's interesting. You asked the question, like, what made me appreciate it? I think, to your point, I'm so comfortable going at, I would even say it's a little higher than 100%. So I don't know if the full appreciation for stillness is still there, right? Like
Mhm.
when I'm talking about it removed, like you and I can riff on, yeah, silence is beautiful. Silence is where the coolest shit happens. Like I can
Mhm.
so appreciate that. But when I'm in it, I'm not always appreciating that. I think you and I obviously have talked about that boxing experience I went through. It was
Mhm.
interesting. That was an incredibly slow sales year for me. Um, the like I do feel like the socioeconomic state was like actually impacting our business. So my deals were pushing, people were losing budget. So I was like super slow at work.
Mhm.
Then enters this incredible opportunity to fight an amateur boxing match. Like, what psychopath female just is like, sure, I'll jump in the ring. But if I hadn't have been like, and again, this is like stretching a little bit, but like that was a very slow work period in my life.
Mhm.
And remember, I'm the girl that's so, and you and I riffed on this, but I was once KK the soccer player, then I was KK/Kayleen the sales gal. Like that was my identity. Then that kind of got ripped away from me. It was like, wait a second, like, you know, there are things in anyone's career that's very much out of your control. I couldn't control that we were just out of COVID. There were wars going on. Like there was so much out of my control that work was slow as hell. Then this beautiful thing enters my sphere that changed my life, right? It got me back in tune with my body. It got me in tune with my, like, to me, that kind of catapulted like a lot of the change I've experienced over the past few years. But like, if work was not slow and I wasn't closing business and working 10, 12 hours a day, I would have never experienced that situation.
Right.
And like, again, that's more of like a bigger picture, like slowness, but that is something I will like never, ever forget. And it's funny at work, like when I'm mentoring people, they're like, like work is so slow, deals are slow, they're not happening. I'm like, what is a skill or a hobby you can go pick up? Like this slow period is the biggest gift you have ever received. And again, my appreciation in the moment was not, I was like, fuck. This personal training is expensive. Like honestly, like there were like expenses flying out. What, like if I'm in business, like what am I gonna do? And now it's like my favorite story to tell. It's like, guys, deals aren't popping. Go pick up a skill, go mentor someone at work, or the best gift you can give yourself, go do that thing outside of work you've always wanted to do.
Right.
So
yeah, it's like where my mind goes as you're telling that story is we get into this rhythm and we, for all the best of intentions, we just cannot stand that rhythm to be interrupted. But we'd rather it be interrupted. If we had to choose, most people would choose that interruption to be an increase in pace, right? Because that it forces capacity, right? As opposed to that slow season. Like I watch this with my kids in the summer, you know, they're like, they don't know how to be bored. I'm like, man, that's where like things get created, is out of boredom, you know. 100%. And if you can channel it, like just recognize that you're in a slow season. Like, okay, cool. Like to your point, what would I rather be doing? Because sitting here stewing, wishing that it would pick up doesn't help anything. And if I am self-aware enough to get to a place where I recognize the list of shit that I actually control right now is this much compared to the list of shit that I don't.
Totally.
Okay, what's on that list that I can go like maximize?
Totally.
You know, that's wild. I love that. It's one thing to know that stillness is good for you and serves a very intentional, worthwhile purpose. But the appreciation of it is, I think, the real gift.
Couldn't agree more.
And I'm curious, now that you have this appreciation, is it something that is still hit and miss with you, or are you very intentional with that stillness?
I love the question. It's something that's still hit or miss. I mean, like, again, I think that there's such conditioning, one, being an ex-athlete, but two, just living in this world, that, you know, progress is only built in busy seasons and fast-paced seasons, you name it. But I will tell you, when something slows down or I feel bored or even something feels hard, I get fired up because I'm like, what's on the other side? Am I creating? Am I growing? Like, you know, and I think that there's a part of me that, you know, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. Like, I do believe in someone much bigger and higher than me. So for me, it's like, I just view those as such gifts. And to your point, I'm a human being. There are times that I'm like, shit, like I was in a flow. Why are you messing this up? Right. Like, I'm like, what? I was like on this path and I was kicking ass. But when I am, and I would say it's like 7 out of 10 times now, I'm like, let's rock. What's about to happen? Like I feel like there's a season a little bit right now of boredom, right? Like I feel like, I live in New York City. I'm not traveling a lot right now. I traveled a bunch at the beginning of the year. People are in and out of the city. Like there's not as much, like it's vibrant, but like there's not as much going on. It's the end of my work quarter and I'm just finalizing some things. And like there is like some boredom right now, right? And there is this deep appreciation and like excitement around like, okay, what's about to come up? Because I genuinely believe, I even think about with like coaching and therapy, and I'd be so curious your thoughts because this is obviously part of your like life's purpose. But my most profound sessions I've had with a therapist or a coach has been when like nothing hard is happening. It's when I go into it, I'm like, actually, I think when you and I had our coaching call after the summit, I was like, I don't know what to talk to you about. And then 5 minutes and I'm probably like bawling, but I just think that that's like such a pure example of like when it's slow, when we're not rushing, working on hard shit, that's when the coolest stuff comes up. So long-winded answer, it is still hit and miss, but I would say 7 out of 10 times, even when it's hard, right? I love what you said earlier. Sometimes it's like just sitting a little bit longer in that. That's not always easy because like you know my energy. I'm like, well, let's go do something. But I think I really love that question. I would say in general, I am very appreciative and like almost fired up by all right, what's about to happen.
Yeah. So do you know why that dynamic exists? Like your most profound, call it growth, shows up in that stillness, in those slow periods?
No. I mean, maybe no. Tell me, you're the expert.
You're not distracted.
Oh, true.
Right. And what I mean by that is eventually, so I talk about these adventure hikes I take with a couple of Marine buddies every few years. We've done the Salcantay trek into Machu Picchu. We've done Kilimanjaro, rim to rim to rim, in and out of the Grand Canyon.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
And what's interesting about those experiences, there's always a period, like 100% of the time this has shown up. And even on like our long humps in the Marines, same thing. Eventually that mindless, one foot in front of the other, repetitive motion that requires zero thought whatsoever, we'll go hours solving all the problems of the world. And then all of a sudden, just like that, it just gets quiet for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's not weird anymore. It kind of fucked us up for the first time. But, if you listen and you get past like the gravel under your feet, all of a sudden you start hearing this little, you look over and,
wow,
it's like, damn, what the fuck,
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
So like when we get to where we're going, like, hey man, what, it's happened to me for sure. It's like, what, or it happens when you stop.
Yeah.
And what's going on is you've been in this cathartic repetition for long enough to run out of your own bullshit. All the things that distract you, the bills that you got to pay, the argument that you just got in, the unfinished project or whatever. And eventually you get to like crazy shit. Am I happy?
Yeah.
Is this for me? Should I be here? right? There was a point on Kilimanjaro, the last stop before we summited. I sat under that sign at like 15,000 feet and just cried. You know, everything hurts. My knees are messed up. You know, I had the gym at the time, and I was just like, I'm away from my kids. I have no reception, but I've got this beautiful view that can only be earned. There's not a picture that would ever do it justice. Yeah. The sun rising through the clouds, you know, and I remember telling myself, like, you told the kids you were gonna do this thing.
Yeah.
So make it a story worth telling, you know? And it's that catharsis, that stillness, that repetitive stuff is just such an underutilized resource for us.
Totally.
But that's why, like, when there isn't a whole lot of Q&A and you're just allowed to sit, eventually you run out of your own bullshit, and the only thing left is what's true. I was in session with my coach, you know, and I was on a mission to make this shit hard.
Yeah.
You know, and she was like, what's the story? She loves this question. What's the story you're telling yourself? Like, why are you like striving to make it difficult? And I was like, I just don't understand why it's not going the way that it needs to, you know. She caught me in a trap door. I was like, my 50% is most people's 100, and they're having trouble keeping up. She was like, So that's cool. If that's true, and you're only operating at 50%, are you embodying the leadership that you're looking for?
Wow.
And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, it changed in that moment. Boom, just like that. It changed what effort looks like.
Yeah.
You know, and how I judge it.
So I'm curious, what does that effort look like for you now? That's so fascinating.
First of all, I had to sit still for quite a while.
Yeah.
After that session, and really define what 100% of my capacity actually looks like, because I had not been there for a long time. And you know, at 100% for me is not a stacked calendar.
Yep.
It's high value, low volume effort.
Yep.
Right. So if you're looking at how I move in the world now, it may not look from the outside looking at, and I struggled with this because this is 100% what serves me best now, that was so foreign to me for a long time. If I'm going to take a lunch, if I'm going to have a conversation, if I'm going to do a podcast, right? Like, all of that activity is earned and intentional. And any white space is dedicated to ideation and making a very calculated next easiest step. Whereas before, it's like, oh fuck, man, I don't have enough going on. I need to fill in those gaps. I need to go take a course. I need to go go find a client, it's just like activity and confusing activity with productivity.
Yep.
And that awakening I had around what does 100% actually look like forced me to really look at productivity and what moves the needle.
Totally.
For all the skills and experience that I've acquired since leaving the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of activity in that version of leadership for me.
Yep.
And now it's a totally different ratio of activity versus productivity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just think that idea of like what 100% capacity looks like for you.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you're going to answer that is through stillness, right? And
mm-hmm.
and awareness to then embody what that looks like. I think that's like such a beautiful thing because going back to the beginning of our conversation, like while resilience could be my superpower, I think it takes different shapes, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you evolve and are in a state of alignment. So cool.
Yeah. I think the tools that you get, from high level athletics are really challenging without sitting still to transmute. What does, that maximum capacity, effort, willpower, strategic thinking, be where the ball's gonna be, not, thinking. What does that look like in the context of this new scenario? And more often than not, I would say that's not readily available, that translation.
Yeah.
And because it's not obvious and in your face and right here, right now, and it takes that stillness for the exploration to take shape. I think that's why a lot of us, when we experience that death of identity, transitioning from, athlete to executive or whatever, a lot of those intangibles that still serve us really well there's a lag there because it's not obvious. Or we tell ourselves some bullshit story like I used to tell myself, my 50% to everybody else's 100. Why don't they get it? It's like, that sounds really cool to your fucking ego, but it couldn't be any further from the truth.
Yeah, totally. Everyone else can figure out that is a hilarious comment.
I was like, man, I got to make this shit sandwich taste real good because I walked right into it, man. So, yeah, the night we met was cool, I thought, because at that point coming into Summit, I had just reconciled for myself that this coach, this strategic advisor element of myself, it's 100% my life's calling. So should the invitation present itself, I'm just not going to turn it off.
Yep.
And now we're coming up on a year since we met. I don't know how to turn it off.
It's amazing.
And, we're sitting there at the bar and it's just like meet and greet central. And all of a sudden, I don't even know what we ended up working through, but it became so obvious to me. And I just asked, do you want to solve that problem?
Yep.
Are you ready to put that down? Could I provide some insight?
Yep.
And one of the things that was big for me, and I'm curious for you, I stopped projecting your response.
Mm.
I don't control that.
Yep.
You know, and it could have just as easily been, and just as likely have been, nope, I'm good. Let's go get another round.
Yep.
You know, and really and truly, that part isn't up to me.
Yep.
And when I put that down, really dope stuff started happening.
Totally.
So what's the one thing Kayleen has put down or picked up that has allowed you to step into the latest, highest, and best version of you?
Yeah. Well, one, I do just have to compliment that conversation was incredible. I think you know that. I mean, it was, you're very good at what you do, but I think what's so cool is I don't think that I knew right before Summit that's when you had stepped into this, like, I'm not hushing this voice anymore, that this is my life's calling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just, I just think you're incredible at what you do. And you helped me work through some stuff that night. But man, this is a good question. I kind of want to answer what have I put down and then what have I picked up. But I think, I would say the overarching theme that has been present probably for the last year and a half is being so proud and convicted in living a life that is for me and for no one else. I think about marriage, kids, all of that I want. I grew up in Atlanta, and I think that there is not always, but I think there's just, and I think in the US, there's this pressure, this story that like what success is, you graduate college, you get an incredible job, you find your person, you have kids, you buy a home, you do this. And, at 29, I had this calling that I was like, I want all that, but I want to go live in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
At 33, I was like, I think I want to get back in shape and do this boxing thing. At 34, I was like, I think I want to start a podcast. In all of that, I've just wanted to try on some new shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, feeling so proud, my therapist actually said this to me, and I thought it was brilliant. I made the comment a few years ago, well, I'm going to travel and move to New York City as I wait for the husband and the kids to come. And she's like, what if you just stepped into the life that you've always been meaning to live and you're finally giving yourself permission? And I was like, holy shit. Well, I think the thing that I'm embodying and I've picked up is like, I am the only one living this life. No one else. Not my parents, not my friends, not any of my exes. This is my damn life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have to practice that every day, right? Like, am I making choices daily that are Kayleen Duffy saying yes to this aligned life?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that same vein, what I've put down is people don't have to like any decision I make. I think that like what's, going back to like a lot of the silence and the really cool conversation we've had, like that's only come through by me just sitting with myself to say like, who are we living for?
Mm-hmm.
You, no one else. And I even, reference back something you were saying before. It's like in that silence or when your values come up, in that silence is the truth, right? I am an adventurous mother effer.
Mm-hmm.
I love perspective of different cultures, different people. I have so many things I want to do in this life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like for years I was telling myself I was crazy for wanting all that. Not anymore. Not anymore. Like I just got done taking an acting class because there's a part of me that wants to be a talk show host. It's like we're just trying shit. And what's crazy? When slow moments at work come up, it's like, all right, what's on your heart? What do we want to try?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you put yourself in an environment where there is no shortage of access to any of that stuff if you want to try it, which is dope.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I feel so blessed that like I'm in an environment that allows for crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
So access is not your excuse. It can't be your excuse.
no. But to your point, though, it's you know, I feel like there were a few years in New York that I like didn't realize. I didn't realize what I had in front of me, right? Because there was this like, well, what kind of life am I supposed to live? Once I said we're gonna like, so someone made a comment. I guess it was essentially a compliment to me, but they were like, you're a person with so much range.
Yeah.
And there was a part of me, comments from, you know, people like, well, you don't need to get into that. That was like, there's so much going on. What version of you, where are we going to focus? And to realize that like, there's so much range that Kayleen Duffy is, that is the version of myself that I love the most.
Yeah.
And by offering myself that stillness every day, I get to wake up and say, all right, who do we want to be today? Do we want to be sporty spice, Kayleen? You know, do we want to be career girly? Do we want to be the philanthropic girl that goes and volunteers with these really amazing old people, like 40 blocks up? Like which girl are we going to tap into today? And having that ability to know that range and to love that range, dare I say it, life-changing.
Yeah. How long has it been since you stepped into that range fully?
Whoa, no one's asked me that. That's why you have this thing. This is a conservative guess, maybe a year.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
And you know, it's interesting. You say keep going. The thing that pops up, I'm like, what else have I not tapped into? So that's a cool feeling.
Yeah. I really think people are challenged, myself included, when asked a question like that. They're reluctant to answer because there's a piece of them that feels like it hasn't been long enough for it to be real. And you know what? If it's true right now, it's been long enough.
I love that.
You know? So, I mean, just in the short time that I've known you, I've seen nothing but the evolution of your fullest expression. And it's cool to be on the outside looking in and just know, I don't say it often enough or reach out as often as I should when I see it. But you are seen. Oh. I see you. It's fucking awesome.
Well, it means a lot coming from someone like you. And, you know, again, I think about just the like kind of mind fuck of a conversation. The conversation that you and I had, I mean, that's like the largest compliment. And I think you do the same thing, like 100%. And I know it's been a journey to get there for you. And I think what's so cool, and there's such like joy and proudness to know someone like you, because it fires me up to keep going. Because you say that term fullest expression, it's like, I feel like at the end of the day, that is everyone's deepest desire. Like, how can I be in such alignment that I just don't give a fuck what anyone thinks, because I am me. And what I think is so cool is like, again, knowing people like you, it's like, it just fires me up to keep tapping into that. Like because I know it's going to keep expanding, right? But I'm still digging shit up. It's like, what is that full version? But I think what's so cool is like, when you and I step into that, and when you and I show that so vulnerably, it gives everyone else the permission to do exactly what they've always wanted to do. And that to me is like the coolest form of fulfillment, because it's like, at the end of the day, we all want to leave a legacy and leave an impact, right? God willing, it's for me on kids. You obviously have children that you're doing that to every day, but it's like, if someone sees something that I say, I don't know, at a coffee shop, on my podcast, in a Slack channel at work, and it gives them 1 ounce of hope that they can go express themselves in a fuller way, I've done my job, right? I've done my God-given purpose.
Mission accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Where can everybody listening tap into what you got going on and figure out through your medium their one thing?
You're the best for giving me this opportunity, but and it just means a lot that you're giving me the space to talk about it. But yeah, check me out on that one thing. It's a podcast that means so much to me. I interview just incredibly kind, smart, brave people. But I think the biggest compliment I get is when my like childhood friends are like, "I really like that episode. It made me go journal about what you talked to that person about." So yeah, tap in. It's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast. That's where you can check me out. I'm also
Yeah.
a little bit of a presence on LinkedIn, so that too.
Your stuff's good. It's good. Check her out, everybody. And if you're on a mission to be the fittest leader possible, head over to nextlevelhq.co and you can get everything you need to figure out what aligned leadership is for you. Until next time. See you.